Alrighty, folks, thanks for joining. We're going to get started in a few moments. We're just going to allow a few more minutes to allow more folks to join the session. Let's see. Well, all right, folks, according to my watch, it is 5:03. So I guess we should go ahead and get things started. So I will be this session's facilitator. And I guess I will go ahead and proceed to hand it off to our team of presenters here to go ahead and get the session beginning.
Hi everyone, so I'm just sharing my screen. And everyone's seeing the first slide, right? Great. So hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Regimented experience, where we're just going to be taking a look at a regimental experience at a couple different colleges. My name is Ashley Willis and I'm from the admissions office at Massachusetts Maritime Academy. And I'm just going to give a second for everyone else to introduce themselves as well. And we can start with Rich, because you're next on my screen.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Rich Davis. I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions and Liaison for the Corps of Cadets at Virginia Tech.
And I'm Brigadier General Terry Jurek. I'm at Mary Baldwin University. I'm the Commandant of Cadets.
And my name is Victoria Pullen. I'm an admissions counselor at Mary Baldwin University.
Great, so jumping right in, just a brief outline of what we're going to do today. We just did those brief introductions. We're going to spend a couple minutes talking about the benefits of choosing a regimented experience in general. And then we're going to dive into what the regimented experience looks like at each of our institutions to give you an idea of what's out there in terms of joining a regimented college experience. And then at the end, we'll have some time for questions. And I will hand it over to Rich.
Okay, so each of us during our presentations will talk about the benefits of our individual programs, but in general, these are some of the benefits of a regimented experience in college. You're going to build transferable skills, discipline, time management, obviously leadership, collaboration. You're going to make that college lifestyle part of your education. You'll be a part of a team. You'll have the opportunity to lead a team and be a part of something that's bigger than you, which will prepare you very well for managerial roles in lots of different careers.
And again, I'm Terry Jurek. I'm a retired Air Force General Officer, joined Mary Baldwin University, and I'm the Commandant of Cadets of our Corps of Cadets. And I'd like to share a little bit of details about our university. I'm joined here by Tori Pullen, who is one of our admissions counselors. Can I have the next slide? So Mary Baldwin University, I know we've got a couple of high school seniors in the audience, probably even some sophomores and juniors, but for our high school seniors, when you go to college, you're going to be the class of 2025. So we wanted to be one of the first to welcome you to your college experience. And Mary Baldwin University is a small, private, not-for-profit institution Next year, we'll be celebrating 175 years. That's our beautiful campus, our main campus, which is predominantly the undergraduate campus. We're both undergrad, we're residential as well, we're online, and we're at the residential undergraduate campus. So this campus here is located in Stanton, Virginia. And if you look at a map, it's where Interstate 81 and 64 intersect. And that's got a rich history, and we've got a vibrant downtown area in Stanton, Virginia. And we're only about 30 minutes from the Shenandoah Mountains, and it's really just it's beautiful all year round. I can just tell you that. Next slide. So the campus, like I said, it's co-ed, it's residential, it's online. I know you guys might be tired of doing the online thing, but we've been doing that for a number of years at Mary Baldwin, and it works very well. The cadets, you can see one example of our uniforms in the bottom left, and they are well integrated into a traditional college campus. In fact, they're actually embedded within the same residential halls. My cadets are in uniforms Monday through Friday. Probably about 70% of the time we've got a variation of uniforms, and that's the experience versus a senior military college and an academy experience. Mary Baldwin offers you that small private co-ed opportunity embedded within a traditional campus. And the cadets are well integrated into student government. They about 45% of them are NCAA athletes, and they just get that rich experience. Next slide. Our cadets, if you're from Virginia and you're looking for an experience that's somewhat close to home, but you still get that opportunity to meet people from out of state, we make up predominantly an out-of-state experience. They come from all over America to participate in this Corps of Cadets because it's the only one of its kind. It is, even though we're a co-ed university, the Cadet Corps itself is women only. Men participate in ROTC, but only within the Corps of Cadets is it the women who are at Mary Baldwin, and they have that opportunity. You can see we have also a very high minority rate, and above 50% puts us into some opportunities that not every university gets to participate in, because we're considered like a minority serving institute within Mary Baldwin. High first generation, and all our graduation rates are super high as well. And then the last 5 years, our commissioning rates have been 55%. Next slide. This just sums up the experience of the 4-year Living Learning Leadership Program and what you learn from your first year up to your senior year. We gather our core values from the Stanton Military Academy, which was on our campus back in 1884 is when they started, and those were their core values: truth, duty, and honor. And we just built into the Mary Baldwin, the VWIL experience, a lot of intense challenges and forcing them into high achievement opportunities, both academic and within the regimental experience. And then towards the bottom, you can see that we have 4 major components. We really push hard that you're at college to get a degree. We give you plenty of opportunity to study, and we reward high achievement within academics, but then we follow that right behind with the physical and health education. And then we have lots of co-curricular opportunities for leadership. But the last bit, you're going to hear from several of us about how we embed ROTC into our college experience. Next slide. Like I mentioned before, for the men online, you can still come to Mary Baldwin, have that small experience of a college that is focused on you, and you can still participate in any one of the 4 ROTC branches. And we do that through a very strong partnership with the Virginia Military Institute about 30 miles south of us. And then if you can see down there, Coast Guard is also an opportunity for our cadets. They compete in their sophomore year for a 2-year scholarship opportunity to go off to basic training. And I've got 2 cadets in my corps that are participating in that program. And then just as a plug for ROTC, because that was one of my jobs when I was on active duty, now's the time to complete those applications. Very simple. If you're looking at colleges right now, that means you're looking for opportunities to pay for college. So I want to encourage you this evening to log on to any one of the services and create an account and start building your resume and completing your application. And you can compete for multiple services for those ROTC applications. And you do that, you can type in Go Army or Air Force ROTC.com or Navy ROTC.com. That's how you do that, but you need to get started on that now. Next slide. Just a couple of summary slides here. That shows one of our training opportunities in the background in the photo. People like to know what's it like a day in the life of a cadet, and you can just see we hammer the study hours 5 days a week. We've got formations early in the morning on Mondays and Wednesdays for PTs, and then we finish up the week with a retreat ceremony. We've got interspersed in there drill opportunities. And then on Saturdays, 1 Saturday a week, we pull the cadets back in. If they're in ROTC, they go off and do control time with their military branch. Otherwise, if they're not in ROTC, because you can choose to have a citizen leader path, we do a citizen leader opportunity for them to focus on resume building and interview skills and what do I want to be and how do I take those graduate studies programs. And so that's a really robust portion of our Corps of Cadets, the citizen leader path. Next. Don't take it just from me and Tori, but you got to hear from our alumni. We've done this survey for a number of years. They truly believe that this gave them an uppercut in their first job, whether they went into a civilian job or a military job. They felt that they were ahead of their peers from day one because they had been given this leadership opportunity. So a big head start for them. And you get this leadership group that you can tap into of graduates, and you'll hear that from all of us, that we really believe in our alums and what they give back to us. Next. Schedule a visit. You can do a virtual visit. I'll put a cadet on a phone and they'll walk you around campus if you can't make it here, but Tori can help you out. All you got to do is email us at marybaldwin.edu, admit@marybaldwin.edu, and we'll schedule you a virtual visit or a walk around with a cadet. But we're super glad that you guys are looking at universities, and we're so proud to participate with Massanutten and Virginia Tech. Over to you guys.
Okay, hello everyone. Like I said, my name's Ashley, and I'm from the admissions office at Massachusetts Maritime Academy. This is a picture of our campus, since I'm guessing you've probably not been there before, since we're a little farther away. Some quick facts about us. I'm going to give you an idea of who we are as an institution. We're located in Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, which is right on the Cape Cod Canal, about an hour directly south of Boston. We have about 1,700 undergraduate students, so we're relatively small in the context of colleges. We're the largest of the state maritime academies, so it sort of depends on who you're comparing us to. We do have a graduate program with about an additional 100 students. We are a state university of Massachusetts as well as a state maritime academy. So what that means is that we still function as a traditional state university. We just have a more specialized focus in our academics. And we offer across all the academic programs a STEM-based education with a regimented campus lifestyle. Our students pursue careers on land and at sea. We do have 2 programs that lead to a U.S. Coast Guard license in addition to the bachelor's degree, and those students are very likely to be working out on ships. But our other 5 majors are in other areas of engineering, in emergency management and maritime business, marine science. So a variety of industries that can serve the maritime industry, but can do it from land, and can also be a part of careers in non-maritime related fields as well. So I know maritime is in the name, but it does not mean that you have to work in a ship like the one in my virtual background, although that is an option. What does string all of our academic programs together is a focus in STEM. So science and math is a big part of what we do, and the regimented experience. All of our students on campus participate in the Regiment of Cadets, meaning they all wear uniforms and all participate in a day-to-day military-esque structure. But we also have some more traditional campus experiences to weave into that, such as Division III varsity athletics, because we are still a state university, and so we've combined some more traditional experiences in with that regimented life. So the regiment, like I said, is something that all of our students participate in. The original reason why we have it in place is actually because students that earn a U.S. Coast Guard license are required to participate in a regiment of cadets to earn that license through a bachelor's program. We have all of our students participate in it because of the benefits that everyone has to gain. As I'm sure everyone else here can talk about, the regiment or any sort of structured experience like this is really focused on leadership development. We consider it our leadership lab on campus. So it's meant to be an additional experience that enhances the academic program. Like was just mentioned, in the alumni, contributing that leadership experience to promotions early on, we say something similar. The academics are going to get you your first job, the regiment's going to get you your first promotion, because you're taking the time to build those leadership and managerial skills while you're still on campus through this sanctioned part of your day-to-day life. Because we are a state university and everyone's participating in this experience, it's not associated automatically with military service. So you can come and participate in the regiment and then graduate and go on to work in the private sector and leave the structure behind if that's what you want to do. We do have commissioning options available for students that want to pursue that. We have a naval commissioning program called the Strategic Sea Lift Midshipman Program available for students in certain majors. All of our students are eligible for MARGRAD, which is a Coast Guard commissioning program. We have traditional Army ROTC on campus. So there definitely is opportunity to pursue that military commission if that's what you want to do, but it's totally optional. And so in this structure of your 4 years on campus, your first year is a lot about learning to be a good follower so that your remaining 3 years can be about becoming a good leader. So you can start getting involved in those leadership positions right away in your sophomore year, and then they get progressively turn into larger roles throughout the 4 years, and the senior leadership roles are really overseeing the entire regiment and providing that mentorship to underclassmen. What a day in the life looks like. This is a day in the life for a freshman student, which is your most structured year. Students typically get up about 5:45 in the morning. Everyone has cleaning stations. Everyone has room inspections. Everyone goes out for morning formation, which is like a morning roll call and muster. 8 to 4 is like your academic day. You won't have classes straight through from 8 to 4. So when you're not in class, that's sort of your downtime. In the afternoon, you either have varsity athletics if you're a varsity athlete, or you participate in company intramurals, which is basically you compete with the students who live in the same dorm building as you. And it's an opportunity to connect with them and have that team building experience. And then at night, there's mandatory study hours from 8 to 10. You go back to your dorm room, you hand in your cell phone during that time, and that's time designated for academics. You can also go to the tutoring center, work on group projects, things like that. And then at the end of the night, you have a final muster, final head count, so to speak, and then everyone reports to bed. So that's sort of like, understanding what the most structure you're going to see. That's sort of the beginning of it. And then some of those day-to-day functions, become not mandatory throughout the remaining 3 years, and you gain additional privileges. And the structure is only Monday through Friday. This is sort of a benefit of being a part of a regimented program that's not a full military academy, is that there is some more flexibility. And for us, that looks like that on the weekends, you don't have to follow this structure. So, when you're unsure, this type of program can give you the benefits of the structure while still leaving some space open for time that's left to you. And now I'm going to hand it over to Virginia Tech.
Okay, good evening. As I said, my name is Rich Davis. I'm actually a graduate of Virginia Tech, and I was a member of the Corps of Cadets. I earned my commission through the Navy ROTC program at Tech, and I served in the Navy for a lot of years. And after my time in service, when I retired, I wanted to come back to Southwest Virginia, so here I am. Next slide, please. So we're going to talk a little bit about Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is one of 6 senior military colleges in the country, and we're one of 2, the other being Texas A&M, that has a regimented Corps of Cadets within a larger civilian university, and that civilian research is a research institution. So we're pretty excited about that, and it makes us very unique. Next slide, please. So as with some of these other schools that have talked to you, we have 2 tracks. So we have a military leader track that's obviously being a part of an ROTC, and we have Army, Air Force, and Navy and Marines. And then we have a citizen leader track. So for those people that are interested in the leadership training, the regimentation, all of the camaraderie that is built in a Corps of Cadets, they have that option if they're not interested in pursuing a military option. And you can see that we basically have, each of the ROTC units, and then we have our VPI battalion, our citizen leader battalion. So when the ROTC units are doing their training, our citizen leader track folks are doing their training, which consists of resume writing and how to interview and all of the things that they'll need to pursue jobs after college. Next slide. So the typical Corps company, the point of this slide is to show you that you'll be interspersed with people from all the different ROTCs, the VPI battalion, that citizen leader track. So you'll have the opportunity to interact with all of the different military services, completely interspersed within the companies. Next slide. So right now we have 3 battalions and 1 regiment in the Corps of Cadets. It's about 1,100 cadets total. We have intentions to grow to 1,400 cadets and expand to a 4th battalion. We need to do a little bit more building on campus to make that happen. But one of the things to emphasize on this slide is that there's a lot of leadership opportunity, and kind of like the other schools talked about, you'll have different leadership opportunities each year. But by your senior year, you will have the opportunity to either command a company, which is approximately 100 people, a battalion, which is about 300 people, or potentially command a regiment, which is over 1,100 cadets. So that's hard to match as far as leadership opportunities while you're in college. We also switch leadership roles at the semester, which allows us to get more students, more leadership opportunities. Next slide. So talking just briefly about the ROTCs, Navy ROTC at Tech is a top producer for the Navy. It's the 3rd largest unit numerically. It switches back and forth between number 1 or number 2 for commissioning nuclear trained officers in the Navy. We have a match every year with that school up in Annapolis. So I think this year they're number 1, but we've been number 1 in the past. And so we have $3.1 million worth of scholarships each year. So as the general mentioned, you really should consider that. If you are looking at the regimented experience, you really owe it to yourself to apply for a scholarship amongst one of the ROTCs. We also produce the most SEALs outside of the Naval Academy, SEAL trained officers that go off to buds upon graduation. So that's another feather in the cap of the ROTC unit for Navy. Next slide. So our Air Force ROTC is the 4th largest in the country. You can see that a lot of STEM majors, once again, 71% of our Air Force cadets are on scholarship. So that's really important if you're looking for those ways to pay for college. You can see that a lot of money is available for that. Next slide. Army ROTC, they're the largest by far at Tech, 419 cadets, and they're actually growing next year. So they're getting even bigger, $6.7 million in scholarships. And a lot of those decisions for scholarships are actually held by the the commander right here on campus for the Army ROTC. So lots of opportunities to help pay for college. Next slide. So Citizens Leader Track, this is a very successful program. As I mentioned, we've got a lot of interest from outside agencies and businesses. So a lot of the three-letter agencies from within the federal government, a lot of the military services, they hire a lot of civilians. They're looking for, once again, that leadership training. And so our graduates from the Citizen Leader Track are very much in demand. You can see we've got 45 graduating, 6 went off to grad school, 8 are in the Marine platoon leader course, 2 going on to medical school, and we have 1 for federal employment. There's also an opportunity for Coast Guard service. We've had some success with that through the Citizen Leader Track, so that's another option to consider. Next slide. So I think I'm about out of time. I just wanted to emphasize that at Virginia Tech, the Corps of Cadets is really a unique and important part of the history at Tech. When we started, it was all military, and we still very much hold to those roots. So thank you for your time.
So here we have all of our contact information. So anyone who would like to follow up after the fact can obviously reach out to any one of us directly. But do we have any questions at this point? I know people have access to the Q&A. Feel free to type any questions in there and we can address them. No questions right now. Does anyone have a suggested question they would like us that we could just internally answer? Any frequently asked questions either of you get at your?
So, one of the questions that comes up and kind of along the lines of what you talked about, Ashley, is, what are the opportunities to do things outside of the Corps at Tech? And so as with, I think, probably all 3 of our programs, freshman year is fairly busy because freshman year is when you're learning to be that follower, you're learning the basics of leadership. And so there's a lot of training that's happening and your time is fairly well spoken for. But really, your remaining 3 years, there's plenty of opportunity to participate in really any program on campus that you're interested in. So athletics, service organizations, Greek life, all of those things are available to cadets. And so you can get kind of the best of both worlds. You get the regimented college experience, but you also get the benefit of all of the other things that are available to you on campus.
And one question I get, in addition to what Rich mentioned, is I'm not really sure how I'm going to pay for college. I'm kind of an average student. I don't know how many scholarships I'm going to get. Will I be able to be in the Corps of Cadets and get a job? And I tell them it's going to be tough anyways, no matter what you do, working and trying to pay for college at the same time. But yes, I tell them over 50% of my cadets, even their freshman year, I always try to encourage them to do work study, so student employment within the university, so they're not having to transport and deal with that. But many of our cadets are actually holding down jobs. So it's not advisable, but many of them, that's their only choice.
I would agree with both of those points on the, the balancing of the regimented experience with other things, such as a job. We say the same thing for our students, in the first year especially, it's really tough to make it to on-campus jobs, but people make it happen, or, look in their future years to work their schedule around those jobs, or, keep the work to the weekends, or whatever that looks like, depending on how many hours you need to work. I know a question we get frequently is about the application process, especially because a lot of times I know you see the military structural, or for us, you know, you see the word academy and you think service academies. Big difference. None of our schools require the nomination process. So that where you have to get the nomination from your senator or congressperson, or that whole process to apply to the federal service academies, which we know is very competitive, and it's obviously a unique experience. These are ways to get that regimented experience without having to do that process. Doesn't mean to not pursue that. You know, you can pursue that, but also be pursuing one of these options. And we may all have 3 different application processes, but they're going to be more similar to the applications that you're looking at non-regimented schools than you would see through those federal academies.
Okay, there's a question in chat for me. It says, Rich, what does a typical day look like in the life of a ROTC cadet track versus civilian track? And the answer is they really look very similar, because that ROTC cadet and that citizen leader cadet are in the same company. So they're going to get up the same time. They're going to prepare for uniform inspection. They're going to do formation. The ROTC cadet may have PT that he's got to go off to, or she's got to go off to with her ROTC unit. But otherwise, they're going to have that time for study, for classes. They're going to have the same time frame to eat. They're going to have mandatory study hours in the evening. They're going to go to bed. So there's really not a lot of difference. The real difference is that when the ROTC cadet is off learning the military skills he or she will need for military service, the citizen leader track is off at training, where he's learning how to interview. He's learning about resumes. He's hearing from people that work in industry. He's hearing from job hunters, you know, headhunters, those kinds of people. So during those, and that changes kind of year by year. Just like in ROTC, you work your way up each year into more and more advanced material. Same thing on the citizen leader track. So that by your senior year, you're basically an expert on resumes. You're an expert on the process of interviewing. You know, you're ready to go. You're pretty much ready to join the workforce.
I'd say opportunities for travel. I know Ashley talked a little bit about that's embedded in her program anyways, because of the maritime responsibilities. Within our Corps of Cadets, again, you know, a small institution, the Corps of Cadets is about 115. We, of course, absent the pandemic, we typically travel, the whole Corps goes up to Washington, D.C. for 2 days and a night. That original photo that you saw when I was speaking, that was from Fort McHenry. We marched in one of the parades up in Baltimore, but typically in Washington, D.C. And the cadets get opportunities to visit Virginia Tech, obviously VMI, but we find opportunities, leadership opportunities for them to visit each one of the academies as well.
So if we have no additional questions, we can probably wrap up a little bit early. Any final thoughts people want to share for students looking at, you know, regimented experiences before we wrap up?
So if you go to the Virginia Tech Corps Cadets website, you'll see there's opportunities for virtual visits. I'm sure there's, like I said, there's similar options on all these schools. So I highly recommend you do that. There's a larger Virginia Tech virtual visit you can do as well. And you'll have the opportunity to talk to actual students and all that. Another question is how course selection works. Interested in architecture. Yeah, so what you major in doesn't matter to the Corps. You can major in anything, architecture, any of those programs that you're interested in, and you'll do the Corps Cadets as kind of your living learning portion of your time in college. So I hope that answers that.
So what I'd finish up with is apply to many schools and just be proud of whatever choice you make. Don't try to make it too hard. There's going to be a good fit for you, and it's really the commitment that you make once you're on the campus to driving forward and doing your very best while you're there. You're going to get a lot of support from your family. No matter where you go, you'll get support from the institution. At Mary Baldwin, we're quick. We give you a 2-week turnaround on your applications. We've had record enrollment the last 3 years. My Corps of Cadets is the exact same way, record enrollment with outstanding students. So we'd love you to apply and give you an opportunity to have a look around our campus. Have a great senior year.
Well, all right. Well, thanks to all of our panelists for joining us. Thank you to all the visitors. On behalf of VACRAO, the Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, I hope everyone found this to be very informative. Please be sure to check out our survey to give results to let us know what you thought of the sessions, as well as to sign up for more sessions at strivescan.com/Virginia. Thanks again, presenters. You all did a great job. And everyone have a great night.